Hi, do you find that your wrists are often sensitive when you do yoga? Maybe it's all of the vinyasas, maybe it's the arm balances. However you want to put it. In yoga, we are very often on our hands. Hi, my name is Tina from Play Plus B, and today we're going to talk about wrists. Okay, so what I see a lot and what I know that I've been doing as well. I mean, it's common. I think we all did it at one time at least, is that when we go into arm balances, and these can be arm balances such as plank as much as arm balances such as crow. Often I see that the hands are just there, right? For support. Like maybe your legs when you're not really mindfully walking through your feet, you're just placing them as, stilts to walk on. And this will affect your arm balance and not to say your wrists hugely. So, what I want to share with you is how to use your hands in arm balances. And this is both for protecting your wrists and not putting that much weight on your wrist, but also to help you maintain balance, help you to navigate when you are in an arm balance. So what we really want to do is we want to dig into the mat. And I'm sure that you've heard it before, but do you actually do it, and do you know how to do it? That's the question. And I think a lot of us just move through and be like, yes, okay, so I'm engaging my fingers, but what does that really mean, engaging your fingers? So what we want to do is that we really want to dig into the mat. Think about it like that. So I have my hand down, I have my fingers, they're widely spread to give me a larger surface, and then I want to actually engage them, so actually digging into the mat. And so I'm using my whole hand to help me with the stability, right? And I'm also engaging all the muscles that will then again help me with my wrist. And I will tell you, this makes a huge difference if you are able to implement it throughout your practice. I feel a huge difference myself when I do it. I have very sensitive wrists, and I've done a lot of Ashtanga, and I'm sure that if you don't know Ashtanga, there's a lot of vinyasas, so we're a lot on our wrists. There are arm balances as well, which have a lot of weight, and so there's really just a huge difference. The other difference is that, and I thought about it a lot actually when we recently did a retreat where we had an acro workshop, which was very interesting because then you can see how you use your feet for balance, how you use your feet when you are the one that's holding somebody up. And you see how you move your feet up and down to help the person that's flying, the flyer, if you will, to maintain balance. So you can grip a little bit with your toes to help the balance and move like that, right? To keep the balance. And the same goes for our hands, right? So when we are in an arm balance, the engagement of our hands will help us to shift the balance back and forth. And so the more that we train our hands, the more we will support our wrists, but the better we will also be able to hold our arm balances. I'm not surprised that one of the best arm balances people and the handstand people that I know, Ilona, that you might know from her videos, for instance, she is amazing at this. And whenever I pass her, when she's practicing, I can see that her fingers are always engaged. She is aware of what she's doing. So this is my tips. This is my tip to you. Do that, then I wanted to do another one. So in the last deck that we launched, well, the Mudra Deck that just came out, we have some great exercises to give some love to these little things, right? So if you have your Mudra Deck, you will find these exercises, which are great to help your strength. Because also, I mean, in the fingers, guys, we have strength, right? So we actually need to work on that strength as well to help our wrists. I'm sure that you've seen like your basketball players that are able to pick up the ball just holding the hand. And if you go try, you may not be able to, and you think it's just because, no, my hands aren't big enough for this or that. And sure, the size of your hand will play a part, but so will the muscles in your fingers, okay? And so these are great. We have wrist exercises on one, that is the shaking, so warming up our wrists like this. We have the folded hands rotation, so rotating, and then really try to engage when you do these exercises. Try to do them mindfully, you know, what are you actually doing? I'm pushing, I'm opening, move slowly, then maybe faster. The rotation, up and down. We have the sideways rotation like this. Then we have some other finger exercises for specifically is raises, finger raises, and then the fold, so also for your range of emotion and like learning how to use our fingers, and stretches as well. So these are great. So these are great not only for mudras, but they're great also for your asana practice, right? So I would highly, you know, recommend that you include them there as well, especially if you're going to do arm balances. But I mean, when are we not doing arm balances? Even downward facing dog is an arm balance in the end, you know, or we have our arms down. And so yes, a couple of more that I would recommend if you have particularly sensitive wrists is to turn your hands out a little bit, because then you will make the angle a little bit wider and it will not crunch your wrist as much. And that will also help you. The other part is, for instance, for your plank position, if you do not only turn them a little bit out, but put your hands a little bit forward so that your someone will will hang me for saying this, but so that your shoulders are a little bit back of your elbows, you're opening up your angle a little bit here, and this way you will have a little less of a weight on your wrist, okay? So it will make it a bit less hard on your wrists. So that's another way. So doing your plank maybe here, you know, still pushing with the hands, everything, instead of here. The more you come over, the more you see the wrists are bent, and the more weight will be put on your wrists and the harder it will be for them, okay? Last thing, if they are very sensitive, which, you know, is also quite normal, you can also use blocks. Blocks is another great way to do it by actually trying to keep them more straight, right? So what we want to do is like create as little of a bend as possible. So placing your hands on your blocks, maybe holding them, maybe placing them on the side, see what works for you. That will give them a less of a bent angle, and it will be less hard on your wrists. All right. That's all that I wanted to say for wrists for this time. Let me know if it was helpful, and Let me know if there was something that I touched on that you're wondering about, if there's anything that you want me to go more in depth about. Just leave us a comment below, and we'll try to reply to all of your requests and your doubts and difficulties. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. See you in the next one.